Thank you, Doug, and thank you all so much for joining us today, wherever you're joining us from. Today, we are going to talk about marketing strategies for the second half of the year. And I know 2020 has been a wild year. Some days I feel like, the first half of the year felt like 5 minutes, and then sometimes it feels like it's been 5 years since January. So no matter how you feel about, how long or short this year has been, we are going to spend some time talking about how we can make sure that we are reaching our year-end goals in the last 5 months of 2020. So this is what we kind of need to start with. Let's think about what would your year look like if it ended tomorrow? What are the goals that you set for 2020? Have you met those goals? If not, how far away are we from those goals? How do you want it to look? Maybe, you say, I am $100,000 away from my goal, and maybe I need 5 more clients. We need to think about what that difference is and how we're going to fill that gap in the next 5 months. And that's really what we're going to do today is take a look at ways that we can do quick and easy marketing to make sure we are reaching those year-end goals. So here's just an example. So say, you set your goal for 2020, 20 million in 2020. That was your goal for the assets. And your average account size is 500,000. So, in January, you realized you needed to sign 40 clients to reach that goal. And your closing ratio is 50%, so your prospects are 80%, and you need about 5 prospect meetings per week. So this is kind of just a way to work backwards when you're looking at a goal. So you can take the numbers that you have now for the first half of the year and figure it out this way. How many prospect meetings do I need per week in order to reach my goal before December 31st, 2020? And before we get into all the strategies today, I do want to just tell you that this webinar is coming to you today courtesy of Advisor Client. That's our turnkey marketing program. The program contains over 60 marketing campaigns that are easy for you to personalize and kind of get up and running with very minimal effort. We have action plans, we have boot camps for the different topics. There's a ton of stuff in Advisor Client. These are just some of our client-facing tools we have. We have a lot of quick reference cards that have key data for clients and prospects. You'll see here our key financial data card for 2020. We have a retirement calendar checklist. We have a cybersecurity checklist, one on Medicare, Social Security, key tax changes. These can all be personalized with your logo and photo and contact information and can be sent out via PDF or hard copy to clients and prospects. We also have special reports and lead magnets that you can use. So these, again, can all be personalized and sent out in whatever way that you see fit. We have a ton of different topics, key financial stats, a whole section on rollovers, and these are really impactful for clients as well. And then we have client and COI Center of Influence presentations. So these are all presentations that you can give to clients or CPAs or attorneys in your area on different topics. So for example, we have the new tax law workshop. This was a presentation designed around the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act and really covers everything that people need to know about the Tax Act. We have a savvy cybersecurity presentation. We have one on LinkedIn for CPAs, retirement planning. A lot. This is just a snapshot of what we offer here, but all of these presentations have PowerPoint slides, script, and toolkits, and they are all FINRA reviewed. And then we just have other communication touches. We have postcards on different topics that you can send out throughout the year. We have checklists and different articles as well. And then we have sales letters. These, again, can be personalized and sent out and are a really nice touch to clients and prospects. And even more, we have tons of marketing resources for you. We have a list of services template. It's probably one of our most popular items in Advisor Client. We have the annual marketing calendar, which I'm going to get into in just a minute. And we have, worksheets, checklists, marketing plans, everything like that, monthly webinars that will be kind of like today, but much more in depth on a certain topic. There's a ton of support materials at your fingertips ready for your marketing needs. So as we look into the rest of the year and you're trying to figure out how you're going to fill that gap between your goal and where you are right now, just keep in mind that there is still plenty of time to give a workshop or webinar. And I'm adding webinar in here because I know in many places in the country, webinar is still really the only option that you have for a live event. Normally we're always telling people to do workshops, but if we learned anything over the last 5 months, it's that webinars really have a place in the financial advisory business. We have advisors who are having great success with webinars. So if you haven't put on a webinar yet, I encourage you to plan one for the fall. I would say skip August maybe because number one, it's kind of a sleepy month. And number two, in order to really put on a good event, especially if you haven't done a webinar yet, you probably need, 4 to 6 weeks of lead time to make sure that you have the right equipment. You know what platform you're using, you learn the material, you invite people to it. But a webinar is a really great prospecting tool, especially right now. A lot of investors who have never worked with an advisor before are looking for an advisor for the first time. And by giving an educational webinar, you are showing your expertise, you're differentiating yourself from other advisors, and that is huge right now. So I really encourage you to think about any presentations you have at your fingertips or any of these which are included in Advisor Client for you to get out and really put on a successful webinar. So now I want to get into 7 super simple marketing ideas for, the rest of the year so we can reach that goal by December 31st. First is find a date to celebrate. In Advisor Client, we always say that timely marketing is the best marketing. So if you can find, either a real holiday or a financial deadline or one of those fun like National Ice Cream Day kind of holidays, and if you can build a marketing campaign around it, you can really get a lot of engagement and connection. So I want to quickly show you, this is part of the Advisor Client Program. It's our Financial Advisors Marketing Calendar. We update this every year, and it contains the financial deadlines for the month, special observances, holidays, and different themes for connecting with clients during each month. And a lot of the holidays are more fun, as you'll see in a minute, but there's always something on there that you can grab and kind of create a marketing event around. So as we look at September, we have normal holiday like Labor Day, and then we do have some financial deadlines. But if you look a little bit more closely, you might be able to find some things that work for your marketing. So maybe, you want to do something for Grandparents' Day. If you work with pre-retirees or retirees, maybe you want to do a celebration for your clients or prospects who are grandparents. You can do, something fun, like, send them a little card or even do some sort of, virtual social event for them. It's also College Savings Month, so maybe you send out a reference card on, key college numbers for the year. We have one on Advisor Client, the key college funding data card. That could be a really nice touch for right now. And then you'll also see there's more other events like Family Health and Fitness Day. You could live stream a workout. Maybe you find a fitness instructor in your area and you do a special class for clients and prospects that they can go on Zoom and join. So there's a lot of opportunities here to really, get in touch with clients and prospects, either in a more professional way, if we're talking about College Savings Month or something like that, or a more fun way just to kind of, lighten up the mood, especially as we continue into this year. Then we look at October. Of course, we have Halloween. That's always could be a fun holiday to celebrate with clients and prospects. Who knows what trick-or-treating will look like this year, but you might want to, let clients know that if they want to bring their kids or their grandkids by the office to trick-or-treat, you'll be there for that. October also has a lot of financial deadlines, so you want to be sure that clients are aware of the FAFSA deadline and Medicare open enrollment and all of that. And then, of course, there's fun things in October too. International Coffee Day, maybe send clients and prospects, a coffee gift card or, something like that. Get Smart About Credit Day. That can be a really great time to talk about, credit in general, but freezing your credit report, a cybersecurity tactic, estate planning awareness week. There's a lot here that you can really educate clients and prospects on, and it gives you a reason to reach out and let them know about other, financial topics that you can help them with. And then as we get into November, we have Thanksgiving, Election Day, Veterans Day. Those are all holidays that you can have some sort of marketing communication around. We also have its Long-Term Care Awareness Month. That might be a really timely topic for clients and prospects that you might want to discuss. Family Caregivers Month. These are all things that you can really kind of build marketing campaigns around. You can send articles on caregiving or long-term care. Maybe do a weekly series sending different articles on those topics. That could be really helpful for clients and prospects. And these are just some websites. This is kind of what we use to build that calendar. So if you wanted to go and, look on your own, you could, use any of these to kind of check the daily, holidays or deadlines for each month. And then also something to keep in mind is to look for marketing materials that already exist. So if you're going to look at something like, I think October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, a lot of organizations will already create kind of marketing toolkits for people to use. So this is from Department of Homeland Security, and they created kind of this content that anyone can go and download and use on social media or on their website. And I know that I think Retirement Saves Week does their own, and I think Family Caregiving Month also has a lot of stuff. So if you're interested in any of kind of those monthly themes or weeks like that, always Google and see what already exists, because they might give you a lot of content that you can share. You don't have to recreate the wheel, and you can kind of twist and use it in your own way. Okay, second big marketing idea for the next 5 or 6 months is to make sure that you're showing them all you do. I hear over and over again from advisors that, oh, I lost this client because they went to an advisor who could help them with, Medicare, and I can help them with Medicare, but they just didn't know that I could do that for them. So you want to make sure that you are reminding clients and prospects too, who you're courting, everything that you do for them. And a great way to do that is with a list of services. Basically, in Advisor Client, we have a template where you can go in and customize, different areas that you help your clients with. And you put that on your website, social media, send it to clients regularly, always give it to prospects. It's just a way for them to remember, oh, yes, Joe you can help me with college planning, but he can also help me with my Social Security claiming strategy. It's also a great tool that they can then share with any friends or family who they say, oh, my neighbor probably needs help. They just retired. Maybe Joe can help them with this too. So it's a really nice aspect of piece of paper or something on your website to have, just to keep it top of mind for everything that you do for clients, because we know that you do so much for clients, and this is just a way to remind them of everything that you can help them with and let prospects know all the areas you can help them with as well. So this is kind of what our list of services looks like, and you'll see, it's in different categories, and this is all customizable, so you can go in and customize it in any way that you would want. But it's simple, easy to read, and it just is a great overview of all the different areas that you're helping clients with. And of course, you can actually have, multiple versions of this. If you have like a niche or a specialty, you'll see here, this is kind of just all the retirement services that you might offer. So retirement planning, Social Security, IRAs, annuities. You can kind of do a lot with this template and create as many different lists of services that you might need. And the main idea, of course, that's, our template, and advisor client members have access to that, but you can easily create something like this on your own. The one thing you want to keep in mind is you want it to be easy for a client or prospect's eyes to read and scan and understand. So, the color coding kind of helps, or these different charts where, the ideas go down. That's the way that our brain reads it. You just want it to be clear and concise and not, too overcrowded or too difficult to read. I especially like this one down here with all the different icons. I think that adding imagery into it can be a really nice touch too. And you want to promote it everywhere. So like I said, it should be on your website. You should be including it in all of your client review meetings. If you meet with a prospect, you absolutely should be sharing it. Share it on social media. Make sure that it's everywhere that clients and prospects are, so they don't forget everything that you do for them. Our third idea is to break bread regularly. And of course, this is one of the areas that might be a little bit more difficult now that we're in a socially distant world, but everything that I'm talking about can be translated to kind of an online meeting of sorts. But the idea here is you want to regularly be communicating with clients and prospects and having some sort of event, virtual or in person, depending on where you are, where people can come together and get to know each other in a different way. So for example, a monthly event, you could do something like a virtual morning coffee club. So maybe everybody, signs in before work with their cup of coffee, and you discuss, one specific financial topic. Virtual peer groups, virtual book club, that's kind of a more fun event. Maybe you want to do for clients. You pick a different financial related book each month, and everyone can get on and discuss it. Virtual happy hours, those are huge, since the pandemic started with friends and family, but you could do it with clients and prospects as well. And then even just a virtual open house or open office hour. So you could say, all right, every Tuesday from 2 to 3, I'll be on Zoom. This is my Zoom information. If you have any questions for a client or a prospect, feel free to jump in, and I'm happy to discuss it with you. Basically, the idea here is you want to have something on your calendar every month that you could invite a prospect or a client to, especially for a prospect. That's a really great way for them to get to know you if they can come and see you virtually face to face and speak to you that way. It's just a nice way to get to know them. And then especially if they're coming to a virtual event where clients are there too, they can see how you work with clients and what it would be like to work with you. So these are just some ideas. And of course, these were all things that we were telling advisors to do in person before, but they all really translate to virtual events as well. I especially think the virtual morning coffee club could be a really cool thing to do. Just talk about different, financial topics each month, and everyone can kind of share, what roast of coffee that they're drinking. And you can simply market these with emails that go out to your list. You just want to make sure that they have all the information for attending the virtual version of the event. So if you're doing it on Zoom or, go to a webinar or something like that, make sure that you include instructions for them on how to sign on to the event and everything that they'll need to know in order to successfully get onto the event. Like if they need a microphone or a camera, just make sure you're being explicit with those instructions. Okay, the fourth idea is to get ranked. This has to do with kind of search engine optimization or SEO. And what we're talking about here is that, if someone Googles financial advisor in your neighborhood, we want to make sure that you are towards the top of that list. So you don't want to be on page 4 of search results. You want to be on page 1 or 2 so that prospects who are looking for advisors in your area see your page and get to go to your website and learn more about you. So the first thing you want to do is register with Google My Business. It's really easy to do. It's free, but basically this makes it so if someone Googles, again, retirement planner in Chicago, like you see here, that you come up in those Google search results. So on the map, they'll see you. If they click on any of those, they get kind of a broader picture. They'll see your address, your phone, this particular screenshot shows that there's missing information and that you should really fill it out fully. You'll want your business hours. That's hugely important. You want to make sure that your website and your directions are there. They have that. And you can also add a ton of stuff to this now. You could add different events that you're hosting. So if you're hosting a webinar, you can actually put kind of a little ad for it in your Google profile that comes up. So that's a really good way to promote events to people who are looking for advisors in your area. And again, you just want to make sure that you're filling this out and that it's up to date at all times. This is what Google uses to kind of make sure that your business is legitimate. And so when it's trying to rank your website against another one, just having this set up kind of gives you some points towards a better ranking. And you'll see here, google.com/business, that's where you should go to claim your business and set it up. And that's where you can go to make any edits as well. And then there's also other local online directories that you want to consider. This, again, is just great for search engine optimization, but also you want to think about where your prospects are going to look for information. Maybe that's Yelp. Yahoo Local, the yellow pages. That sounds more old school, but it does help your ranking on Google just to have your information on these directories. So it's worth just making a very basic profile and keeping that in mind. Now, I know we always get a question on this about, compliance and testimonials and reviews. So of course, if you have specific rules around that and can't be on Yelp, keep that in mind. It's not make it or break it if you're on Yelp or not from an SEO standpoint. But if you can be on Yelp, that is just a good place to go because a lot of people will look there for different professionals in their area. All right, the fifth idea is deliver tools. People love toolkits or, calculators or, gamification of things where they can put in their information and get content back. So if you can give prospects and clients tools, that is something that is really valuable to them. So what are some examples of that? Checklists, worksheets, reference cards. So here are some examples from advisor client, but you could easily create, things like this on your own. So we have the key financial data card. Prospects love this thing. It has all of the financial numbers for the year, the tax brackets, social security numbers, healthcare numbers, gift and estate tax, financial deadlines. It's a really great two-sided card. And like I said earlier, it has all of your contact information on it. So if you're sending it to a prospect, every time they look something up, they're looking at your photo and your name, and they're reminded that you're there for them and you could help them with all of that. More simply, we have the retirement budget worksheet. This is a really valuable part of our retirement planning workshop where you can give it to attendees afterwards or before the workshop, and they're able to fill in the different budget that they're looking at for their retirement. And then, if they see that there's a gap, you can kind of come in and help them, plan that out more fully. And then we have the rollover ready checklist and a bunch of other things. So, giving clients or prospects tools like this where they can go through and customize it with their own information and see how it affects their financial plan is really powerful, especially prospects who are doing that retirement budget worksheet. They might realize right away, I don't know if this is going to work. We need help with this budget. And they are going to call you and ask for help. And then there's other financial services tools. These are kind of like the gamification that I was talking about earlier, where you can, a lot of websites now will have like quizzes where you can go on and see your, financial risk profile and things like that. But you can also just set up lead generation campaigns to get people to download maybe an ebook or wealth building toolbox you'll see on the screen here. These are just examples of programs that we found other advisors advertising on their website. So just so you can get some ideas of what people are doing. What's great about this lead gen idea is that they have to give you their contact information in order to get the tool. So you're building your list at the same time, and then you're able to drip on them in the future. So you should always be using kind of a lead generation campaign in order to share these tools. You don't necessarily want to just be emailing them out. You can do that as well too to a list that already exists, but always think about how you can use it to build your list. All right, number 6, ask your clients. This is a huge area that I think is overlooked by a lot of advisors because often we're afraid to ask our clients for feedback. We're afraid that they're going to be unhappy with something, and so we don't ask what they think about our services. We don't ask for testimonials, and we don't see what they like about working with us. But we're missing a huge opportunity there because study after study shows that surveys actually work really well, that clients are much happier when they get to share their opinion. There's actually an increase in revenue for advisors who do survey their clients. So I know it kind of seems scary and like you're putting yourself out there to ask for feedback, but overall it tends to have a positive effect for advisors who are doing it. And it's really easy to set up a survey these days. You can do them quickly online on tools like SurveyMonkey. That's free. It's really easy to use. You can just type in your questions. They kind of make it look nice for you. If you have the paid version of it, you can even add your branding to it. And then you can just send out the link to your clients. Maybe you post it on your website too for clients or something like that. But it's really easy. Once you send it out, the SurveyMonkey or whatever tool you're using does the back work for you. So they'll kind of create the results and you'll be able to see. And it can be really insightful to learn what your clients think about, your business in general, but your website, how you've been communicating, what they look for in the future. I think this year especially is a hugely important time to be surveying clients. We have been kind of rushed into this work from home practice where maybe you're communicating with clients in a new way that you have not before. So surveying them to see, do you like video chatting? Do you prefer the phone? Just getting an idea of what they think about communication going forward. Maybe you can see if they're, how they're feeling about in-person meetings or if they want a virtual option going forward. It can just be a really nice way to A, learn what your clients are thinking, and B, I think it makes clients feel like their feelings are important to you as well, and allows them to share what they're thinking, what's been on their mind. And so these are just some of the tools that you can use to create your own surveys. Like I said, SurveyMonkey, that I've used that a ton. It's really easy, but there's even more than these ones on the screen out there now. Most of them are really easy to use and they're free for the most basic version, which is probably all you'll need. And lastly, I kind of started with this, but I want to end with this tip because I think that 2020 is the year of the webinar. For years, we had always kind of even been pushing in-person workshops over webinars. I think it's easier to make that personal connection in person. But we have found this year that webinars are working. A lot of advisors are having a huge amount of success with webinars. And I think that even when things go back to normal, we have become so accustomed to doing things online from our couch, maybe, wearing sweatpants, that a lot of people are going to prefer webinars to in-person events in the future too. I don't think webinars are going to go away when there's a vaccine. I think as more people get comfortable doing more from home, that, they're not going to want to get in their car after work and drive to your office, sit in traffic, not get home until 9 p.m. because they were at this in-person workshop. I think having a webinar option is going to be really valuable. That's not to say that, you never do an in-person workshop, but having both, I think, is going to be really powerful for advisors. So of course, hosting a webinar, there are things you need to do before you can just log on and do it. You need to think about a webinar service. There are a ton out there. There's Zoom, which, has kind of made its name for itself during this pandemic. That's usually what we use at Horse's Mouth. It's really user-friendly. And there's different, pricing options there. GoToWebinar is one of the popular ones as well. Google has their own version, Google Hangouts, Microsoft Teams. There's a ton of web conferencing software out there. I always tell advisors, if you're already using a service and you're comfortable with it, just continue using it. There's no need to change just because there's a trendier option out there. But if you haven't, found a service that you're happy with, you want to do some research and see, do they have these certain features that I'm looking for? And you just want to make sure that you're comfortable using the platform and you know how to use the platform, because if you're confident during your webinar and you know how to use the technology, clients and prospects will feel more confident as well. And you can stream it live. So like we are doing today, I'm great. It's very good that we're doing this as I'm talking about it now. But live stream video has been kind of ramping up for years now, and I think it's really reached its point of being huge. I'm sitting in on a Facebook virtual conference right now, and one of the presenters yesterday was saying that Facebook Live videos get 6 times the engagement than just a regular video you would post on Facebook. So if you go live on Facebook, you're going to get 6 times more comments, likes, views than if you just, recorded a video on your own and then uploaded it. The live aspect allows people to respond in real time, like some of you are doing right now, where you can kind of comment and, post your question and then we can get to it at the end. And it just, it creates, it notifies people to your page. It creates kind of a specific audience for this live event, and it can really build community engagement, which I think a lot of people are looking for right now. And it can get you in front of people who, weren't on your list and didn't get the email inviting them to the webinar. Maybe, one of their friends commented and told them about it on Facebook and they were able to come in and see you. So it's a really great prospecting tool. It can be a little bit intimidating at first to do a live video. But the more you practice with it, the more comfortable you get with recording yourself, the easier it can be. And you don't need fancy equipment for this. You can, simply use the webcam on your computer. You can even use your smartphone. The great thing about Facebook Live or, any other live streaming service that you're going to use is that people are used to seeing more casual videos. It doesn't need to be overproduced. We're used to seeing video all the time that's kind of shot from a smartphone. So you don't need to worry about it looking like you're in a studio. In fact, I think sometimes that's kind of a turnoff on Facebook because, it's not TV. People aren't watching it for, broadcasting abilities. They just want to get the information. So if you're sharing good content, and as long as the lighting is good and that they can hear you, you don't have to worry too much about it looking like, an overly produced TV show. You just want to be sure you're sharing your content, you're communicating with people who are on the live stream when they comment, that you're addressing it and answering their questions. And it can be a really great way to build your business and get to reach new prospects that, you have never before. And this is kind of our bonus tip, is be urgent. Of course, this year, like I said, has been crazy. Who knows what the next 5 months are going to be like, but we want to make sure that we are using everything in our power to end the year in a powerful way. Always more thinking about marketing, We want to have calls to action. We want to make sure prospects know that they should act now to, sign up for this event or schedule a call or whatever your call to action is. You want to be sure it's explicit and that it's urgent. And so, as we're talking about, creating a sense of urgency, think about year-end planning and how you can communicate with clients and prospects about year-end planning. This is a tool that's available in Advisor Client. It's called our Last Chance Financial Planning Checklist. It's hugely popular. You can send to clients and prospects. And basically, again, you personalize it with your information and then you send it out hard copy or, via email. Although I think sending this piece particularly via snail mail is a really nice touch because they can go and actually check the boxes that they want to discuss for you. So basically, they get this card in the mail and they go through and think about the different areas that they need help with or they have questions on, and then they can check them off and then schedule a time to meet with you. So they can bring this checklist back in and you can work through it. This is great for clients in general when you're thinking about a year-end meeting. But you should also be sending it to your prospects because, this year has been really crazy in every way, but especially in a financial standpoint for many people. And they might be really confused about, do I need to take an RMD? What happens to my retirement account? I lost my job or I took a severance package. What does that mean for my taxes? So there is so much going on for year-end planning this year that we need to be talking about. And like I said, there have been many surveys showing that investors are looking for financial advisors for the first time. And this can be a great tool to send out to show them that, yeah, you can help them with all these different areas. That this year has been different than others, and maybe they have more questions than normal, and you can help them with all of that. So this is a really powerful checklist to share with clients and prospects. We also have to think about year-end tax management. So that, you could be sending out our key financial data card. And again, this shows tax brackets for the year and other, different Social Security numbers, healthcare numbers, Medicare numbers, everything that you would need to know from a financial planning standpoint for the year. And you can send these to clients and prospects, but also to CPAs and attorneys. They love these cards too because, CPAs obviously need to know all of this for tax planning purposes, but it's hard to remember all these numbers. So if you can send them a little cheat sheet like this that has your contact information on it, it's a great way to stay top of mind. And then there's healthcare postcards and other key financial deadline content that you could be sending out. So these, again, are just great pieces that you can personalize and just let clients know what's going on. You'll see the key planning and investment deadline postcard there. We have these for each season. So you might want to start thinking about sending that out for the fall. And just reminds them of all the key financial planning deadlines for October, November, and December. So let's just quickly review our year-end marketing ideas. So first we said celebrate a date. Timely marketing is always hugely powerful. So find some holidays on the calendar, whether, they're traditional holidays or more fun holidays, and think about how you can create a marketing campaign around them. Research, if you're doing a specific retirement planning week or something like that, research and see if there's already marketing content that exists from the organization hosting the event and how you can use that. Number 2, host a webinar. Like I said, 2020, I think, is the year of the webinar. If you haven't done one yet, I highly recommend you try it out. I think you'll be amazed with the amount of feedback you get on it. Clients and prospects are looking for advice right now. And if you can get on there and they can just click and join your meeting, that's a great way to prospect. Think about tools. So we're thinking about checklists, different budgeting sheets, toolkits that prospects can use that might be impactful for them for the rest of the year. Set it up as lead generation campaigns. So you're getting that contact information in exchange for them downloading the tool. Then we need to think about SEO, making sure we're getting ranked. So use the Google My Business profile to make sure that all your information is relevant. And then any other local directory that you want to be listed on, make sure you fill out those profiles as well. Survey your clients. Like I said, this is something that advisors never really do, but I think this year is really the year to do it. There's so much going on, so many changes have gone on in your business, and it's really important to ask your clients, what they've thought of it and what they prefer going forward. You might be surprised to hear that maybe, 70% just want to do virtual meetings from now on. They like the idea of being able to do it from their home. but you won't know that until you ask them. So set up one of those SurveyMonkey free surveys and just send it out to clients. Lists of services, we want to be sure that clients and prospects know everything that we help them with. So creating some sort of a graphic image like you'll see here of all the different areas, and making sure we're sharing it on our website, on social media, in meetings, that everyone knows everything that you're doing for them. Think about holding a monthly virtual event, whether it's the virtual coffee house or book club or happy hour. Just, set something up so you can invite prospects to something all the time, and it just kind of build community with clients and prospects during these times. And then, of course, be urgent. Think about year-end planning. Make sure that you're communicating with clients and prospects that year-end planning this year might look a little bit different than in the past. So if they're unsure about their tax situation or any of their accounts, that they should be proactively reaching out to you and making sure, they're scheduling a meeting. So the last chance financial planning checklist can really help facilitate that. But you can also, create a checklist on your own that kind of goes through different topics that might be important to discuss in your year-end meeting. But just make sure that it has that sense of urgency that, they need to schedule a meeting now, because year-end's going to be busy, and they might want to discuss these topics before January 1st. And of course, you can do everything that I've discussed today on your own. You can easily create all the templates I've showed you. You can do a survey. You can, do a webinar of a presentation that you create, or you can take the easy way and join our advisor client program. Right now, we do have a special running where you can buy a quarter of the program, so 3 months for just $297. You get access to everything in the program for those 3 months, all the presentations I mentioned, the client reference cards, article reprints. There's a monthly newsletter that goes out. There's so much information there. And you can get that for $297 for the quarter right now. And you can do that by going to horsesmouth.com/advisorclient. And just a preview of what we'll be doing next quarter in an advisor client. These are some of the webinars that we'll be doing. So they're webinars like today, but much more specific. So in September, we have an entire campaign on building a Facebook strategy to boost engagement. So we'll be talking about organic and paid strategies on Facebook. This has been a widely desired program from our current advisors in the program. So I'm really looking forward to getting into the nitty-gritty of Facebook strategy in September. Later in the month, we also have a session on building a productive COI. It's a Center of Influence network, all about referrals. So how do you, connect with CPAs and then get referrals from them? And then October, we're going to be talking about social media more broadly, creating, social media plan across different platforms. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, maybe. We'll be talking about all the different areas where you can be prospecting and communicating with clients and prospects. So again, this is, we can really end the year well. We still have time to reach your year-end goals. So if you want to, join Advisor Client, now is the time to do it. Make sure that we're ending the year strong. You can buy a quarter for $297 or the annual membership there as well. And that about brings us to the end. Doug, do you have any questions? Doug, you there?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I was muted.
Okay, it's okay.
I'm dropping my mic on myself. I'm leaving myself muted. Having some audio issues today. So Chris Holman, Horse's Mouth Executive Coach, actually wanted everybody to know that webinars are additive and not just a substitute.
Yes, definitely. That is a great point. I think, right now we're so focused because that's kind of the only option for a lot of advisors out there. But when we do get back to normal, you definitely should be doing in-person events as well, because it's the best way to build that connection. But always keep in mind that there's now, and there always probably have been, prospects out there who never want to come to an event in person. So having a virtual option for those people will allow you to reach that kind of audience. So yes, that's a great point, that you should definitely be doing both when we can get back to doing both. But I think having the virtual option will be really powerful going forward, especially as people get more comfortable with doing financial planning from home, which surveys are showing that they are. So yes, great point, Chris. Thank you.
Okay, and we have someone asking if the slides for today's presentation will be made available to them.
Yes, you will get an email with the replay and all of that in it.
Okay, it looks like that's it for questions, Devin.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for joining us today, and I wish you the best of luck finishing out 2020 strong. I hope to see you guys in Advisor Client, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.